Well, hello there folks, and welcome back to another video. You join me here now in my ASMR photography booth because I did not record any kind of intro for this video, so apologies for that. As the snow falls over this wonderful landscape, we journey onwards out to seek adventure and beautiful scenes, and we are quick to find our first stop. One of the most fascinating things about visiting the Lofoten Islands as a landscape photographer is the possibility to stop anywhere along the road and find something wonderful to photograph. And this particular scene is no exception. This little red cabin nestled so neatly into the snow and a colossal backdrop of mountains and beautiful skies. I am super happy with the final result of this image, and I think one that would lend itself quite nicely to a print.
Well folks, how's it going, and welcome to the next day of our wonderful adventure here in Lofoten. You know, one of the harsh realities of visiting a location like this is having to sit in a car park and wait for a space to present itself so you can park. Participants here that are on the tour are already out and enjoying the scenery, and I think there's somebody going to come out now, so let's get to parking and let's get to shooting. Such wonderfully different conditions we find ourselves with this year, folks. It is absolutely glorious. There's such drama in the sky off in the distance, as you can see here. It's the cloud cover is adding such dynamism to the scene. It's really, really wonderful. And the fact that all the rooftops still have all that lovely snow really contrasts so beautifully with the red. Ultimately, I'm going for a super wide. I'm shooting at 16mm. Bracketing the exposure because there's some pretty harsh highlights off in the right hand side of the frame, which I obviously want to try and control. But as we're sitting here now, and it's just really, really, really gorgeous. It's such a beautiful scene, nice and low, using the foreground to act as a nice kind of crescent moon effect in the foreground, and it really lends itself well to balance the whole scene out. So super duper delighted with how this first image is after turning out. So let's explore a bit more and see what else we can find.
So here's the result of this first image. While it is a beautiful scene, for me there's just something missing. 16mm has just proven itself not to be wide enough. And thankfully I came to this realization while sitting there and reviewing the images on the back of the camera. So given a little extra thought, I proceeded then to
I've actually opted to take a little bit of a panoramic, because one thing I was finding with the original composition that you've seen there just a moment ago is that it didn't get the entirety of this curved waterfront that I wanted to have in the image. So I've just taken just a very easy, simple panoramic that I'm going to stitch together, and just to widen the scene out. 16 is just not wide enough for a vista like this. As you can see, it's just absolutely epic. So let's keep our fingers crossed and hope that it all works out.
And here is the mighty result of this panoramic. What an absolutely incredible vista. The village you see across the water is called Reine, and this particular vantage point is taken from the bridge that leads you into this small village. As with the previous image, there just wasn't enough room for this whole scene to breathe. The crescent moon shape of the water's edge really balances the composition, and the mighty mountains off in the background are accentuated so wonderfully. I am thrilled with how this image turned out.
As epically wide and vista-like as this scene is, I've actually put on the 100 to 400 because I don't know if you can see off in the distance here, there's these massive peaks that are just moments ago were catching such absolutely magic light. So we had to be so fast. And I really, really hope those images turn out well. So it's an absolutely fantastic scene. One of the things I was really looking forward to trying this time around to photograph was just isolated peaks. And with this weather that we have and this low cloud, it really lends itself well to adding such dynamism to the scene. So let's keep going.
With the light of the scene changing so quickly, it was such a beautiful thing to see such looming mountains peek from behind the clouds. As mentioned, I was using the 100 to 400, and what I did forget to say for this picture, I actually turned on the crop sensor mode, which then would have taken me up to maybe 500 mils or so. This for me really helped to emphasize and accentuate the looming mountainside against the small tiny cabins in the foreground. I love this kind of scene, one that's abstract enough for your imagination to run wild, but still yet very much grounded in reality. Again, using the 100 to 400, like a sniper's scope, I was seeking layers, and this scene presented itself. With the furthest mountain peak catching the tiniest last bit of light, it really added such beautiful contrast to the final frame. I'm really delighted with this image. There's just something so simple and striking and beautiful about how it turned out. Again, like I mentioned, using the 100 to 400 really gives you a good opportunity to zoom in and just find these small, intimate scenes, albeit of massive mountains.
Well, here we are at a place known as Sakrisøy. I don't know how to pronounce it, but we're all pronouncing it Sakrisøy. Some fantastic photographic opportunities here. Lovely peaks and houses and yellow houses against the mountainous backdrops. So it really lends itself very, very well to frames and photos. I'm going to pop up. I didn't get a really chance to record any pieces to camera here while I was taking the pictures. So I'll pop up some pictures and I can walk you through them now. So let's get to it and explore more. We're heading to Hamnoy, which is that lovely big peak and bridge over there. So the very classic, iconic Lofoten kind of scene. You'll recognize it when you see it. So we're going to head there after and wait for the sunset. And hopefully, if these clouds persist, should see some pretty epic light. So let's get to it.
Well, here's a nice surprise. I decided to make this image black and white. I didn't record any piece de camera for this image as it was taken very much off the cuff. While people were wandering and exploring the area, I decided to set up my tripod and play around with some super long exposures. And when sitting in front of Lightroom reviewing the images and randomly pressing the black and white button, I thought, oh, that's a nice surprise. So I decided to leave it. For me, it really resembles one of those fine art black and white kind of images that you would see, but I'll let you be the judge of that, as my black and white editing abilities are not the greatest. But nonetheless, I am super happy with how the frame turned out and really love the motion in the clouds, and using the 10-stop neutral density filter really slowed down that water to create a glassy surface. This is a funny picture, because it's one of those real Instagram kind of scenes, and I can see why it's so popular. The yellow cabin framed so beautifully in the tall, big, spiky mountain in the background. One thing you need to contend with when photographing this particular scene is all the yellow hats and blue jackets and red jackets that wander into your frame, all looking to grab a slice of that Instagram glory. Nonetheless, I am very happy with how this particular image turned out, and like I said, I can totally understand why it's a popular scene. It really is epic.
So one of the main things really you have to contend with when visiting places like this, like I mentioned before, is just the traffic and the amount of people. This place really wasn't built for big tour buses and huge groups of people, you know, so you have to be super duper mindful and very conscious of the locals and how they view everybody that does be here. I know it's all wonderful and gorgeous to look at and photograph, but you know, when there's 7 tour buses trying to get over a tiny little bridge, things start to get a bit hairy, you know. But in fairness to them, everybody's super nice, super welcoming, so I guess they don't mind to some degree, but I could imagine during the summertime it would get super duper busy. And so yeah, if we all be a bit extra mindful, all will be well. But let's move on to Hamnoy and let's hopefully enjoy a beautiful sunset, and let's get going. Well, here we are at Hamnøy Bridge. This is a super duper iconic location for any landscape photography. It's wonderful. Yep. I don't know how well you can see any of this. This gimbal is pretty heavy, but we are here. It looks like it's going to be epic. So let's keep our fingers crossed that the light kicks off. I don't know if you can see behind us here. There's a nice break in the clouds, which essentially is where the sun is looking to come through and hopefully light up this peak here behind us. And we've got this lovely foreground of these lovely red houses down the bottom here. So let's keep our fingers crossed, set up a nice composition, and fingers crossed that the light happens. It's so cold that I left my gloves back in the lodge. So yeah, pro tip, bring your gloves. So you shoot this image from a bridge, so you have to be super mindful of the traffic and there's going to be so many photographers. So let's set ourselves up and let's get to shooting. Wow, wow, wowzers. Look at this light. I really, really hope you can see this. The pictures are like probably some of my favorites so far ever. It's absolutely incredible. The light really has come through for us. It's absolutely gorgeous in the composition. As you all know, you've seen this picture millions of times, but you know, to be here as cold as it is, to see this light catch on the peaks is just pure gold. Absolutely thrilled with how it's gone. Everybody is having such a great time and capturing. I mean, it paints itself really, doesn't it? It's absolutely wonderful. So going to continue shooting here for a while, help out the folks, maybe run under the bridge. There's also another composition under there. So if there's time and it's safe, maybe we will run down under the bridge. One thing I'm going to point out to you though is if you look, compared to the scene that we photographed here last year, it was so blue in the sky. There was no snow left on the mountains, and that snow on top of the mountains really helps to add and boost the contrast of the red houses in the foreground. So the light is just getting better and better. So let's continue shooting and let's make some magic.
So here we are at the final image of this absolutely wonderful day, and what an image it turned out to be. As I mentioned, last year's conditions, while beautiful, did not give me that drama that I was really after, and this particular frame for me is one of the best pictures I think I have ever taken. I absolutely adore it, and sitting here now staring at it continuously for the last 10 minutes as I re-record this voiceover because I keep messing up, I am only growing fonder. The last bit of light dancing across the peak, the red cabins contrasting so beautifully in the snow, the slightly long exposure dragging out the water as it crashes into the rocks in the foreground. It is an incredible scene, and having the opportunity to revisit and get this image, I will forever be grateful for, and humbled to stand in such majesty of wonder and beauty. I am printing this one.
Well, what an absolute marvelous end to such a beautiful day. Caught some really gorgeous photographs. Absolutely thrilled. So probably going to call it quits on this video. I was kind of hoping to, blend 1 or 2 days together over the course of a few videos, or a couple of videos at least. So for now, I'll call it quits. We're going to go eat some food, and feel free to like and subscribe if you fancy. And I'll see you on the next one. Looking forward to it.